What up? It's your boy T-Bear, and reaction today is Wrestle Wednesday. So one of these days I do want to try to do these videos by the channel I'm going to react to these videos from. That's partsFUNknown, and I'm trying to react. I want to react to the championship, the best best and worst champions of championship runs as well too. But I seem like I never can get to that or as well too. But at least we'll like to do this at least though, and we're going to talk about homegrown talents, you know, first with WWE. You know, with WWE, homegrown talent is definitely homegrown. I mean, while a good amount of talents through the years had a run at other companies as well, such as earlier days with AWA, NWA, as well later on with WCW going to WWE, and then a little bit later with Impact Wrestling and Ring of Honor going to the ends, and now late is the independent scene with folks from the independent scene going to WWE, as well as some folks even getting started at AEW and then getting a bigger break in WWE. But there's folks who has been homegrown till the day with WWE, and you know, been sent to the development before getting into the WWE. That's for the likes of John Cena, Batista, Roman Reigns, Bianca Belair, Kurt Angle, and a good amount and a good chunk of folks from NXT, the new NXT right now. So without further ado, we want to take a look at 10 greatest homegrown talents of all time. So let's check it out. And you know something, and the thing about homegrown at times though, they're proved to be they prove they'll be just as good as those who had the experience in the indies or previous companies, or even better than those who had experience in the company. Oh, we got one more homegrown guy, the great one, The Rock, as well too. But anyway, let's get it. And folks, anybody say he was on USWA, pretty much was WWE's then territory company. So anyway, let's get it.
Of WWE over the
development
last
company.
Checks watch 40 years has been their struggles to create stars of their own, often relying on others to birth, raise, and nurture wrestling stars themselves before WWE would swoop in and lure them away with big bags with dollar signs on them as the young wrestlers left their bobo in the snow. Doesn't matter if it was Hulk Hogan coming up in the AWA or AJ Styles making his name in TNA, WWE found it easier to buy star power than create it, but that doesn't mean they couldn't do it. Whether through one of their numerous developmental promotions or molded in their obscenely expensive Performance Center 5000, WWE has had a lot of wins under their belt, and today we will celebrate them. This is a list of the very best wrestlers homegrown by WWE. Good on them for having an eye for raw talent. I'm Tempest hailing from partsFUNknown, and these are the 10 greatest homegrown WWE stars ever. Before we get on with this list, make sure, of course, that you like this video, subscribe, and enable notifications to always on so you never miss a fun list.
I will say this won't be all kayfabe gimmicks aside as well, too.
And check out Luke Owen's new list here on the channel. You'll like it. I like Luke, and you should too. Number 10, Trish Stratus. While not technically trained by WWE personnel, Trish Stratus was signed by WWE in 1999, having never wrestled before, and given that less than 5 years later she was considered the diva of the decade of the 10-year anniversary of Raw, I would say that signing turned out all right. Trish was one of the few times WWE's hiring of models worked out in their favor, as Trish was a lifelong wrestling fan and incredibly dedicated to be great, having received training from Ron Hutchison in Toronto, the same man responsible for the training of Ed.
My bad, because I got alert saying our actress died. It's Gail Honeycutt from Dallas, died at 87. RP to her, man. It's sad seeing a lot of deaths as of lately, though. In the entertainment world.
Christian and Beth Phoenix, Trish became one of the best women stars in North American wrestling history and may be close to challenging Terry Funk for most retirements in wrestling. However, just like Terry Funk, I will never get tired of seeing Trish wrestle. I shudder to think what the WWE Women's Division would have looked like without Trish in it during the Ruthless Aggression era. I mean, I guess I could just look at 2007 and yeah, I was better off not looking. Number 9, Batista.
Yup.
Big Dave Batista is a very interesting case in regards
Batista.
to this list. If we're being totally
Yup.
honest, I'm not sure that old Drax wouldn't have gone the way of Mason Ryan, Ezekiel
I would say definitely the OVW4 is going to be in this. I will too. I have to think about that.
Jackson and the like, after breaking up with Reverend Devon, had he not been paired up with Triple H, the man with all the pull in the world, but them's the breaks, and you know what? Tell me Batista didn't make the absolute most out of his career. After receiving some training and having a handful of matches at Wild Samoan Office School and Promotion, the non-German WXW, Batista moved to OVW, which you may be shocked to learn will come up again in this list. From there, the Leviathan trained until his WWE debut, and he quickly moved up the ladder as the fan favorite of Evolution, making him a 6-time WWE World Champion, multiple-time WrestleMania main eventer, one of the actually funniest wrestlers I've ever seen in my life. Look up his basketball promo when you get the chance, and maybe the second biggest star of the Ruthless Aggression era. Number 8, Bianca Belair. By the end of her career, Bianca Belair may be considered the best.
I will say this: she definitely, for somebody homegrown, exceeded excel a lot better than a good amount who came from women who came from the Indies world too. Man, she definitely did, man. So definitely props to her, man. She definitely deserved. I wasn't sure she'd be in the top 10, but I'm glad she is, man. That's pretty awesome.
Women's star in WWE history. Considering the first 3 matches on her WrestleMania resume, I don't think that is too bold to say. Bianca is truly one of the great achievements of the NXT system. Having been signed in 2016 following a successful tryout, the first time many people took notice of Bianca was in the Mae Young Classic, and frankly, the improvement from then to now is remarkable. It's not like she's a bad wrestler at the time, but the attention to detail that has come with her development has been tremendous. The best example of that is her braid. Go back and watch her in that tournament. She's using her braid in like every other spot, and as you can imagine, it means nothing. Fast forward just a few years, and one crack of the whip-shaped braid is the most memorable spot from the main event of WrestleMania. When it comes to Bianca, as the great Michael Jordan once said, the ceiling is the roof. Number 7, Charlotte Flair. While Bianca may end up WWE's most accomplished women's wrestler by the time her career is over, it is hard to argue that Charlotte Flair's 14 world championships and laundry list of stellar matches doesn't give her that spot for the time being. I'm not gonna lie and say that Charlotte's one-note character of I am queen, give me belt hasn't gotten as old as Luke Owen's half-finished coffees decorating our studio. I think her legacy would greatly benefit from some character development and motivation beyond padding her career stats like 2017 Westbrook trying to hit that triple-double, but it is inarguable that when you are talking about the wrestlers who were trained from scratch by NXT and the Performance Center, there may be no bigger star than Charlotte Flair. Her matches with the other horsewomen, Asuka and Rhea Ripley, have put her in a tier of her own, and WWE sure will let you know that, but on the biggest stage possible, there are few better in WWE trained anywhere than Charlotte. Number 6, Randy Orton. Signed by WWE in 2000 after a handful of matches in Missouri, Randy Orton was assigned to WWE's developmental territory, Ohio Valley Wrestling. We've not heard the letters OVW much to this point in this list, but you will best believe that is about to change. For as much talent as the Performance Center has produced, the OVW class of 2002 alone would set Ohio Valley Wrestling apart as one of the great producers of talent in WWE history. Randy Orton is one of the smoothest and most natural wrestlers to ever come through WWE, and his 2-decade career, 14 world titles, WrestleMania main events, stellar matches, and legendary status cement his legacy as one of the greatest WWE superstars of all time. This list really applies to Orton as well. There are very few people who are more WWE guys than Randy Orton. In many ways, he's the prototypical WWE star and has built a career that WWE will tout as one of the best ever for years and years to come. Admire your work on this one, WWE. You earned it. Number 5, Roman Reigns. From one of the standouts of Ohio Valley Wrestling to the biggest star ever produced.
Okay, fair alignment and gimmicks aside, though, and I mean, Roman Reigns definitely has shown that he's been good as a homegrown as well, too, regardless of his current run. I cannot stand.
By Florida Championship Wrestling, Roman Reigns may not have started out as one of the best WWE stars out there, but he damn sure has gotten there. When Reigns was called up from NXT in 2012, he had only been wrestling for 2 years in FCW and the Performance Center. His limited time there left him green, but he was protected in a trio and given a chance to develop on the main roster. After a while, he could be relied upon to have great matches, and once WWE finally stopped trying to make him John Cena Jr., Reigns came into his own as a character and has not looked back since. His training in WWE's developmental system didn't exactly make him the star that he has become, but Roman Reigns was just a late bloomer, what can I say? Now he's one of the greatest WWE champions of all time, with a list of great matches a mile long and a sometimes obnoxious WrestleMania main event resume to his name. Suffer and succotash, what a career. Number 4, Brock Lesnar.
Yup.
Here's OVW again. The class of 2002
the
produced
one
an
person
incredible amount of stars.
Probably
People
number
with
2.
varying
Probably
degrees
number
of
2.
natural pro wrestling ability.
Be number 1.
On one end, you had the likes of Randy Orton and Shelton Benjamin, who was long listed. And at the
So I got a feeling it's going to be a top number 3. So if it's going to be John Cena, he's going to be... Number 1's got to be The Rock. But it's probably going to be John Cena and Kurt Angle, or Cena might get number 2. So it's going to be Kurt Angle, Cena, and Kurt Angle, Cena, and then Rock. I got a feeling. I could be wrong.
The other end, you had guys like Batista, who needed a little bit more work. Somewhere in the middle was Brock Lesnar. If this was a list of guys who have made the most money by doing the least amount of work, Brock Lesnar would be number 1 with a bullet. And you better believe I say that with the most respect possible in the universe to Brock Lesnar. He may be the smartest man in wrestling. The fact that Brock is even number 4 on this list speaks to the quality of these WWE projects, because Brock is simply one of the greatest of all time. Seeing him come up from OVW in 2002 and utilizing a more traditional strongman wrestling style, then evolving over time to his Suplex City style and cultivating the best part-time persona outside of The Undertaker at WrestleMania has been nothing short of incredible. He is one of the greatest success stories in WWE history, as is the case with everyone on this list, but we are really in the S tier now, and the S stands for Suplex. Number 3,
Kurt Angle. I'm right. I was right. So number 2 one of
all time. Maybe the best pro wrestler of all time.
Number 3.
When you consider that Kurt Angle originally turned down WWE because he would not be willing to ever lose a match, it makes it all the more remarkable that this is the man that was happy to make a fool of himself on WWE programming for years and years and years. But my God, was he the greatest fool there has ever been.
He was.
There have been very few performers in history who have been a total package like Kurt Angle has. From the pure natural ability to wrestle to his chops as an entertainer, Angle is one of the best to ever do it. And this man came in before there was even an OVW to learn from, being trained by Dr. Tom Pritchard and Dory Funk Jr. Not too shabby as far as trainers go. Angle may indeed be the greatest wrestler on this list, but if this is a list of the greatest WWE stars, well then only 2 sit above him. Number 2, John Cena.
So you know number 1 is.
Final member of the OVW class of 2002, John Felix Anthony Cena Jr. is synonymous with WWE, serving as the company's golden goose for a decade, perhaps too long in some people's eyes, but a run unparalleled in WWE history. Having wrestled a number of matches for UPW in California, including
Go back. He got right there, but yeah, you see it right there. My man Joe, and he got Kaz right there too. And I forgot that they said this is somebody said this guy is Zoe Stark's current husband right now.
Oh, how did we never get that Mania match, WWE? Cena was signed to a WWE developmental deal in 2001 before eventually making his ruthlessly aggressive debut against Kurt Angle in 2002. On that previously mentioned scale of natural to not natural, Cena would definitely have landed near the latter end. Some might argue he struggled to ever move more towards the middle of that scale, but that did not stop him from becoming one of the 5 biggest superstars WWE and wrestling in general has ever seen. His success in the movies these days just goes to show how big his star has grown. But if you need someone to rattle off John Cena's resume, well, it would take more time than I've got today. Let's just say it's a lot. And number 1, The Rock. I wonder what the wrestling world would have looked like if The Rock hadn't suffered an injury while at the University of Miami that derailed his football career. But would we ever have gotten a Rock? Today, the biggest movie star of the last decade. Who's really to say? All we know is that if The Rock didn't go to his dad and asked to be trained to wrestle, resulting in tryout matches in front of Pat Patterson of the WWF, well, the Attitude Era would have been a lot less interesting. After wrestling a few matches for Jerry Lawler's USWA as Flex Cavana, don't know why they didn't go with that gem instead of Rocky Maivia.
Thank you. Rewatching the Young Rock and rewatching his match as Flex Cavana. Why didn't they do that, man? Like, you had it right there. And he was a babyface as Flex Kavana with that persona, was the same as the Rock persona. And you go with the Rocky Maivia one. Guess around the time this new generation era and the Attitude Era was out yet. I guess it wasn't ready for that comp. They thought it wasn't ready for the type of audience, but they didn't read the room. I always said that too. Good call on that, man. For real, man. Always wondered that, man. Why didn't they do that?
Dwayne "The John" Roxon was signed to a WWE contract, and just months later, he was walking out at Survivor Series with those tassels to make his debut. WWE has, in many ways, been waiting for the next Dwayne Johnson to walk through their doors ever since. And as they have come to learn the hard way, there is only one Rock in pro wrestling. Keep trying, though. The PC's got to be good for something eventually.
His daughters,
that's our list. Make sure, of course,
his daughter's there.
If you like this video, subscribe and enable notifications to always on. And check out a clip from Luke Owen's list right here.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking about that. Other than that, though, this was, I might check it out one day. But yeah, this was good, though, to check out the Homegrown. I had a feeling that I'm glad that my top 3 was right when I seen it, though. But yeah, this was good, though. Like, and I'm happy that Bianca's in the list, though. I mean, she definitely deserved it. There's some other ones I can say that deserve, like Drew McIntyre kind of deserve as well, too. I think Sheamus was homegrown in a way. I don't think I'll know him and other stuff, though. Who else I was thinking that was, like, kind of homegrown in a way that... the Hardys, the Hardys was kind of homegrown as well too. Who else was homegrown that came from there as well too? That wasn't on the list. Definitely should have been on the list. But yeah. Other than that, this was cool. I can say Mark Henry definitely could be good on the list. But other than that though, if they had like a 20, it'd definitely be some of them guys right there. So, but yeah, other than that, and Bron Breakker is on the verge of being there. But other than that, if you like my reaction, like, share, subscribe my YouTube channel. Bobby Lashley definitely as well too, I can say. But anyway, it's your boy T-Bear signing off. One love.